Sharif Ishaq's down in New Orleans, joins us on Tuesdays on the Jim's Firearms Hotline, does so now. Sharif, how are you?
I'm all right. I'm fine, decent, I guess.
I'm glad to hear that. I wouldn't want anything worse for you. Let's talk about OTAs. How big a deal are OTAs?
Yeah, I think they're a big deal considering you got an entire new coaching staff, you got a new quarterback, got 9 draft picks, a few extra pieces you got in free agency, and you're coming off a 5-12 season. So yeah, I'd say probably one of the more important OTAs in, let's just say, 19 years. Yeah.
That's reasonable to say. Look, I noticed I was going back through Ross Jackson's piece over at LouisianaSports.net, and he was talking about how the first couple of days of OTAs were when we saw Taliese Fuaga, who was a right tackle at Oregon State, actually playing on the left side, and they wanted to get a look at that, and then it ended up being his spot. How closely will you be watching where Kelvin Banks lines up in his first OTAs?
Yeah, I think I'm going to be watching closely. I've gone back and forth, Hunt, about where he should play and where each one of them should play. I feel like you should just leave Telly at left tackle and move Banks to right tackle. I feel like he's already comfortable at left tackle. I don't know. I know he hasn't played right tackle Kelvin Banks since like his sophomore year of high school. But then you're just, I don't know, man. It's a tough decision. I think that Fuaga's is good at either position. And I just think that since he has a year under his belt in the NFL game and he knows the speed of the game, I think I want to much rather leave my blind side, my quarterback being protected from the blind side with a guy who's been there, done that for at least one season. And if Kelvin struggles at right tackle, maybe you think about the switch next year, but I just don't think he's going to struggle at right tackle. So that is one area I'll be watching outside of the quarterback, of course. That's the most obvious one. But, yeah, that's an important one, though.
Well, let's get to quarterback here in a second. But to that point, to kind of round that out, like, who do you think is going to be the left guard?
Whew. Man, that's the $1 million question. Me and James Hurst were talking about it yesterday. What should they do with Trevor Penning? And he might be the odd man out, honestly. I mean, if they can't transition him inside, which they should try to. He did well by, kicking him around last year, but I know they signed Dalton. I don't want to say his name right way. Dalton Resner, whatever. But he's probably going to have the chance at that left guard position this year. So I would think it's between Dalton and then Trevor. So yeah, that's the second most important question along that offensive line. Is Trevor moving or is Trevor the odd man out? So. I don't know. He played all right at right tackle last year. Can he make that transition is going to be the next question. I think that's going to be a fun battle. And I know fans aren't going to like to hear a fun battle when it comes to their offensive line, but it's good to have a little competition. So Trevor versus Dalton is going to be a good one.
It's interesting because, you can make decisions that impact the 2025 Saints, but you also, I think, have to have an eye on the future. And whether or not Trevor Penning is even going to be a part of that, which they're not going to pick up his option. Maybe you find gold at left guard. It's unlikely that he's some sort of franchise right tackle based on what we've seen. So do you want to give that a look at Penning at guard? Do you want him to just be the swing guy and use the guy and put him on the bench? I don't know how much of that is impacted by the 2025 Saints and how much of it is looking to the future where Penning is probably not part of the equation.
I mean, look, they're going to have to figure it out. I mean, yes, they didn't pick up his player option for the fifth season, but they've got to figure it out. Plain and simple, they've got to figure out what in the world they're going to do at that position because, the offensive line is going to be important for the quarterback, who I think is going to be Tyler Shough. It just can't be bad, man. I mean, it can't be bad. This offensive line has to hold the quarterback up. Whether it's I said Dolphins, Dylan Randunz or Trevor Penning. One of those two guys has to take command of the guard position.
Okay.
They signed him, and they find him as a big valuable piece. They sign him, they like him a lot. He has experience. Now, is he going to be able to beat out Trevor Penning? I mean, history would tell you that Trevor has done well whenever you asked him to move a position. He did well. I mean, he did all right. He took him away from where he was. But he had issues at left and moving to right, and he was fine. He was a little bit more than serviceable, he had penalty issues there toward the end of the season, but like at least he was available and played pretty tough for the team for most of the season, just like Taliese. But one of those guys, Dylan or Trevor, is going to have to take command of that left guard position, and whoever doesn't get it, man, like they need that, the extra guys or two, because in world class, you got a lot of guys out here who have experience they need desperately to keep the quarterback upright. If you don't have the quarterback upright, you have no chance in the world to do anything serviceable on this team on offense next year.
I've never been to NFL OTAs, so I'll have to lean on you for this. But how much are you going to be able to see of Tyler Shough, and what will you be able to see him do? Is there anything you can glean from his performance? I realize that, like, as far as alignment goes, you can learn some things about Kelvin Banks. Shough, what are you going to see?
I mean, Tyler Shough. I mean, you get to see from pretty much most of the practice. I mean, there's no hiding. It's just like what we could shoot and not shoot. But yeah, I mean, we get to watch a lot of it. I mean, to me, it's simple. I mean, OTAs, they don't show much anyway.
Right.
It is about as vanilla as during OTAs. I just want to see if he has a little connection with the receivers. I just want to see what it looks like in 7-on-7 when he gets into those situations and he has the blitzers coming at him, how quickly he releases the ball, if he throws the ball away, makes any bad decisions. It's as simple as that. And I want to see his arm. I want to see how he can get the ball down the field. He has a nice arm talent. But to me, at first, the biggest thing to me is his decision-making. I'd love to see his decision-making and how it develops throughout OTAs, mandatory minicamp, and then training camp.
As far as the wide receiver spot goes, I did a segment yesterday just talking about how they just have a ton of 6 foot, 190-pound wide receivers that are fast. Like, there's not a lot of diversity in that receiving core. How big a problem is that, if it is one, and can they address it?
Yeah, it is a big problem. You can't have just. I mean, it's good to have speedsters, and you have Rashid, you have Chris, you have Brandon Cooks, but 6 foot, and 5'10" just isn't going to get it done for your quarterback. You've got to go out there and find that big possession receiver. I know maybe they don't want to use that money. They want to save the cap. Can't believe I'm saying that. Work on the cap for next year, next offseason. But, maybe that Juwan Johnson, I know he plays tight end, maybe they think that he's going to be that possession receiver. It's just, they never really addressed it. And I'm a little shocked by how they didn't address it. But maybe I told you, maybe they go out there and try to chase down a Keenan Allen or some other veteran receiver. But you have to convince them. You have to convince some of these veteran receivers during training camp to come to New Orleans, a team that's, struggling, coming off a 5-12 season, a new staff, new quarterback, guy might be in his twilight years. Does he want to come to New Orleans? You have to convince that receiver like Keenan Allen to come here and take that job.
Do you feel like when they drafted Tyler Shough that at that moment the franchise went from searching for its next quarterback to, okay, now do everything you can possibly do to make sure Shough is developed properly as the quarterback? Like, was there a point where that shifted?
Yeah, I think he's there. They drafted him to develop him. I mean, I don't think they were wasting a pick at number 40 to just make the pick. I think they drafted him thinking, hey, this is. I got told you that Mickey has given each one of their head coaches their quarterback. He gave Sean Drew, gave Dennis Derrick, and now he's given Kellen Tyler Shough, and this is the guy that he wanted. So he's going to have some time to develop him. I don't think they brought him in here to say, all right, you fail, we're drafting a quarterback next year. Yeah, they could. They certainly could if they had landed in the top 3 or 4. But I think they want to at least give him the opportunity to develop. I mean, we got some people who rave about him, NFL insider analysts, and you have some who don't rave about him. It's just so hard to tell. I mean, he looks the part. If you look at him, he's 6'5", 220, 225. He certainly looks the part. And he's got the experience from college. 25 will be 26 in September. You would think that he's gonna grasp the game at some point this year, and you're like, okay, maybe they don't need to think about a future quarterback. Maybe he's in the building. Maybe we just need to put pieces around him the next couple off seasons.
Yeah, that's the kind of the point I'm getting at is like how comfy a landing spot do you think this is for Shough, or do you think they got a long way to go in putting the pieces around him? Let's not kid ourselves. They got some way to go. I'm not ready to say a long way to go because at least they put the offensive line for the most part around him. Got some weapons with the receivers, but they need to find a couple,
possession receivers. They got to give him some other threat. You got Alvin Kamara too. You got Devin Neal and maybe hopefully Kendre Miller. But you've got to give him some possession receivers. But it all comes down to one thing: time. Time. It's going to take time on stats for him. It's just not going to happen overnight. It's not going to be like Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels was a one-off, and so was Joe Burrow. I mean, you could probably say Jaden more because I think Joe got hurt his rookie year. So it's tough, man. It's tough to do what Jaden did in his rookie year and expect that every rookie quarterback to have close to that type of production, because it ain't going to happen.
But sometimes there's a pot of gold there at the end where Joe did get hurt, and you think that's a bad deal. Well, that allowed them to have a bad record and draft Jamar Chase. So that ended up working out for them. Anything else that you're kind of looking at as far as OTAs? I know you're big on Devin Neal. Is there anything on defense that you're looking at?
Look, it's good that we get a chance to look at him for the first time this week in rookie minicamp. But rookie minicamp is just so not much. It's not much you see. But I do want to see. I really want to see a lot of Quincy Riley, the cornerback.
Yeah,
he could play almost any position. He could play in the slot. He could play on the outside, and he was productive at Middle Tennessee State and at Louisville. So I think they drafted him to have an opportunity to be a starter. I mean, quite frankly, I'm being honest with you, that's how much they liked him. And I think that might have been the second best deal in the draft for them. I like him. I think that don't be surprised if you see him playing a lot more starting this year on the outside, and you move Alante back on the inside, and you have Kool-Aid and Quincy playing on the outside this year. I think Alante really struggled last year, and maybe they just think, hey, this keep you where you're good on the inside. But with Quincy, you can play him all over that secondary, and that's what I told you when we talked about the draft. These players are all about versatility, and I like his versatility a lot. I think more than 50 passes defended, close to 15 interceptions in his career. I like that. I mean, I think you need some guys who are playmakers on both sides of the ball, versatile. You get that with Quincy Riley. Can't wait to see how he develops throughout OTAs and the rest of mandatory minicamp and training camp.
We'll talk to you about it next week. Thanks, Sharif.
Anytime, Hunt.
Sharif Ishaq, WDSU down in New Orleans, talking a little New Orleans Saints. They got rookie minicamp this week, and then they'll fire up OTAs coming up in a few days. So we'll be talking about it, and you can find all of our coverage at Hunt on Saints, and also Ross Jackson, LouisianaSports.net. He's actually got a piece right now up at the homepage, LouisianaSports.net, that's what to watch for at Saints rookie minicamp. So we'll talk a little more Saints as we move forward in the week. Hey, it's Hunt. Thanks for watching Hunt on Saints. Before you leave, help us out a little bit. Hit that like button, leave your comments in the section below, and hit that subscribe button so you get all our content right here from Hunt on Saints. We'll see you next time.